Why do Snoop keep doing interviews making it seem like he had nothing to do with the whole East Coast West Coast beef and pretty much pitting all the blame on Tupac?
Okay, let me. Now this is something I really want to break down. That song you put up, I produced that song, so I'm in there. I know the energy, I know the reason, and the temperature. Now, Snoop never said like that he was always clean-handed or whatever in the scenario. Yes, we got mad at them, you know what I'm saying, when they shot at the at the trailer in New York, you know what I'm saying? Like, people got hit, you know what I'm saying? One guy got hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have killed motherfuckers. So at that particular point, all bets is off, let's get down. What Snoop is really breaking down is that at a certain point, everybody had gotten tired of the beef. You know what I'm saying? And Dog wanted out of the beef. He wanted to just piece the shit out. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he trying to play the choir boy. I don't know why people were twisted up like Snoop trying to play the choir boy. It was a frustration around the camp that certain people wanted to just be cool. Like, because everybody started off cool with Bad Boy, and then Bad Boy went south on some other shit that happened, kicking off in Atlanta, carrying on to New York when we was at the Source Awards. You know what I'm saying? Different things happened. And the beef happened. True that. Pac gets out, he fired up because it's a common scenario. Cool. All of that's there. But at a point in this particular scenario, it was just a thing that Dog said, I'm not beefing with them no more. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, it ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Coming off this shit going on, got a whole new feel on life. I'm not trying to smash no more. Not that I wasn't smashing with you, because I was with you. But I don't want to do it no more. Let's stop it. And that caused a huge rift right there. You understand me? Because Pac felt now, okay, niggas is starting to be disloyal. And it wasn't disloyal, it's just how long do we continue and how many times and how many records gonna be about this scenario? Everybody's gonna have their recollection of these events. But this is no defense because Snoop don't need defending because the facts are the facts. He's never negated the fact that he went on the radio and said what he said. He never negated the fact that Pac was hot. That's why, like, if anything, if it was a situation like that, he would have asked me not to put it in the movie, not to play it out exactly how it happened. That's how it happened verbatim. He told that story on Sway. People don't. He tells the story. He don't hide that fact. Like, he told that story when Pac waved him off and Pac was hot at him. He thought he was gonna get dumped and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real story. And it was a hurting story. But the way Miss Shakur, you know what I'm saying, at the hospital in Vegas, she told him, you know, my son loved you. It's like one of those things where you got cousins or family members, right?
Yeah, right.
Hello? Say, for instance, you get into it with them. That don't mean y'all don't love each other. That don't mean that it's forever. That means that we got into it, we funking right now, whatever, but I got time. I'll talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Say, for instance, God forbid something was to happen to that person in that moment. That don't mean that they went out hating you or whatever. It's like one thing Moose said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows what Pac was going with the whole relationship with the East Coast, West Coast, because I have an opinion on that, of where he was going with that. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact of what he said he wanted to do with a record that I did called Watch Your Mouth. On Watch Your Mouth, he dissed a lot of people, but he dissed more people on the original version than he did, you know what I'm saying, on the version that came out whenever the state put it out. You know what I'm saying? Because he said he wanted to change a few things on that because he had resolved some of the altercations that he was having. So, you know, it's like you can only speculate. Only God knows where he was going to go. So to continue a unhidden or underlying scenario is just, that's why the initial call was, what is the agenda? Is the agenda to uplift everybody now and to understanding that, you know, Pac was lost due to unforeseen, ungodly circumstances at a young age, you know what I'm saying, and perpetuate that? Or is it to say, okay, we learn from those mistakes, we elevate each other, and we move forward in a progressive way that's positive? Or is it to keep pouring salt into the wound for what result?
And I told you when we spoke earlier, my agenda was to get Snoop to stop lying on a dead man that can't defend himself. But with that being said, my man, let's backtrack a little. What's the song "Keep It Real, Dog" about Biggie? What's the line about somebody being fat with a dead eye about Biggie?
I mean, like I said, I don't like to speak for people.
Let's keep it a buck.
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
keep it real, man. What's that?
But I'm just saying, if I gotta say what I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, what else? Who else could he be talking about? You know what I'm saying? But you know, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, that man can speak for himself. And like I say, anybody that got any questions for him, he'll answer certain questions. He may not do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I take all smoke. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if he his answers, he don't need defending, bro. Like his heart, like this is one thing I would say about him. They say, well, you defend him because y'all close. No, man, he's a grown fucking man. We don't always see eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? It's been things that he said that got misconstrued about me because people didn't play the full audio of what he was saying and how he was, and the frame of mind that he was saying. You know what I'm saying? When they said, and I don't know if it was you or somebody had put it, he said LT didn't know 2Pac like that at the time, right? That means a big deal versus LT didn't know 2Pac. At the time, when we all broke it down, I was in Snoop's camp. Snoop explained it. He had to break it down to people like he was saying that I was a dog pound producer. I'm in that scenario. So everybody, when Pac first came to Snoop's house, when I met the dude, you know what I'm saying, I was under Snoop, of course. But as the time goes, and I was in the studio 24 hours a day, all day, every day, ask every outlaw. Like Muno, I did his first album, solo album, you know what I'm saying, stuff on his joint. I didn't hit them up upside the head. After Pac died, all of them, you know, called me all the time. And I was on the stratosphere, you know what I mean? And I showed the same love to them then that I show to this day. So what he was saying was, you know, at the end, when I was in the studio 24 hours a day, and we started making those joints that end up coming out later and what have you, you know what I mean? It was a shift at Death Row where Dog wasn't coming in as often because we had house studios built. Wasn't nothing super crazy going on, and we had some other scenarios. So I ended up being at the studio 24 hours a day because the only place I had to go was back to this little bitty ass apartment that Death Row had gave me that I was riding the fucking scooter to. So I'd rather be at the studio 24 hours a day because I was elevating in the game. I was coming up. I started off down there low man on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? I don't add extra character to it. Who I became and who I am is from that hard work. So at the studio, and that's what Suge always say, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro worked his ass off to get and elevate himself through the ranks. You know what I'm saying? So I worked my way through the ranks, and like I said, I was around for so many events because I was a fly on the fucking wall. Because I'm there. I happen to be there all night, every day, and all the engineers can speak to it. May he rest in peace, Dave Aaron, because I kept them on their toes. So things would happen 4 o'clock in the morning that nobody was around for except for the people that was in that motherfucking building. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot of things that can be attributed to it, but it was just a different era at that time, man. So, you know, it was a crazy time. So everybody got their version of different stories. It's just crazy.
Right. So why doesn't Snoop mention any of these songs in interviews, like NY87, Keep It Real Dog? Why he acts like these songs never happened and he never had any issues with Biggie, and he pretty much puts all the blame on Tupac? Why is that?
I don't see it like that. You know what I'm saying? I see it as him saying that we had a disagreement at a time. You know what I'm saying? And we stayed down and smashed with Pac. Like you understand, like it was public that we were smashing with Pac. You know what I'm saying? Like it came to a head that it went south when he didn't want to do it no more. And that's a question that you got to ask Dog. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see it like that. I see it all the time where he explains it clearly to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the interviews and I see certain things, and he's saying clearly at a point he's giving you the full breakdown at the point that he was tired of beefing and saying that I don't want beefing no more. I ain't got no problem with Biggie and whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's saying from that point. He's not saying ever.
So
I've never heard him say I never had beef with Biggie. I never heard him say that.
So, what would be your response to the Outlaws? And I'm pretty sure you've seen the interviews they did with Vlad TV years ago. But what would be your response to them saying, "Hey, Snoop was just in L.A. dissing Biggie with Pac and talking about Biggie with Pac. Then he gets on the radio and say he's cool with Biggie when he was just in L.A. dissing Biggie with Pac." What would be your response to them making them comments?
Okay, I would attribute that to there's days, right? You could be one way on this day and then have an epiphany or a change of heart the next day. Some people the same day. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to say, man, you know what? Fuck this nigga, man. Fuck this and that nigga. Do this and that, and then you can have a conversation. Like let's just go me and you, bro. Like I could hold on to bullshit if I wanted to. But I texted you earlier and called you my brother. That's understanding and growth. I told you that when you leaked my phone number to the world because you didn't like what I was saying to you, right? I didn't change my number. And I don't hold no grudge with you over that. I told you that day, stay blessed. That was my comment to you. But before that, when you first leaked my joint, I was like, fuck dude on all type of levels. When I seen this and that. So, to say that somebody cannot have a change of heart within days or whatever, like, that's just not right. Like you people expect people not to be human beings. So when I say at that point, he always say at that point. At that point, he was just done with it. He called himself trying to dead the situation, and he really wanted peace and go back to being friends because we all started off as friends first. Everybody was cool at first. You know what I'm saying? It turned sour and had a bad moment. Even before Pac was involved into the equation, it had already started going bad with Bad Boy over some other things. That's what people don't understand. So when Pac came in, he had a common enemy. We didn't jump into Pac. It was already a beef stemming from something else that happened with Death Row. So it was already going towards a Death Row Bad Boy scenario. So Pac came in as like a general and just put fires on the flame because he had a common enemy.
So let's keep it real. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Do you think that's solid? Do you think that was a solid move by him by standing there? You was just dissing Biggie in L.A. with Tupac, then you get on the radio and pretty much say that on your homeboys. Do you think that was a solid move to do that?
It's not for me to say whether it's a solid move or not. Like his plight and what he do is how he felt. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell a man how he should feel or shouldn't feel. He felt he wanted to end the shit and say what he said, and I can't do nothing but stand by what he's saying, bro. Like that's not even see that's a question where it's like it's perpetuating nonsense. If he's going for peace, yeah, I'm with that. I say that's solid as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants to keep on beefing and get somebody killed, bro? Those two brothers. This is the part where media and sources become irresponsible because we lost two brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? We lost two black young men over some nonsense where if they would have had, your name is Art of Dialogue online, the art of dialogue. If they would have had just dialogue, both of them brothers probably could still been here today. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole scenarios would have changed that night if everybody was in Vegas and different things. And even if he had even went to Vegas that night, if the dialogue was different. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, if it was in the name of peace, I'm going to stand by 1,000%.
Here's the thing, bro, and I hear what you're saying, but I feel like, I mean, the response you're giving me is a little suspect, and this is the reason why I say that. You don't leave your so-called friend out there like that, man. You don't leave him out there to dry or whatever. Like, you don't go diss somebody. Like, you're dissing somebody, then you get on the radio in another state and say you and that person cool. Like, he pretty much left Pac out there. And on top of that, you know what I mean? If that was the case, wait, let me finish. And if that's the case, do you think it was more logical and you think it would be the more respectable situation for Snoop Dogg to be like, you know what? I don't feel this way about Biggie and Puffy. This is getting serious. Somebody gonna get killed. You know what? Let me just have a personal conversation with Tupac and just tell Tupac, hey man, chill out. You know, try to squash this beef with Biggie and Puffy.
Hold on. This is not cool.
Instead of getting on the radio and saying what you're saying without coming to Tupac with it. He just got on the radio and said that was his homeboy.
Let me stop you, bro. Let me stop you. Listen to what I'm saying to you, because first of all, nothing I say could ever be suspect. But let me give you a valuable piece that I just left out. Let's be clear. We in the studio, all right? I do a beat. The issue was talked about and discussed before they went to New York, right? Pac stormed out the studio this night when they had that conversation did not just come out the blue. This conversation was had in Can-Am Studio, Studio B. Me, Badass, there's a bunch of people that's in the studio. Pac goes in on the beat, right? He goes in on the Bad Boy scenario. Snoop told him, Pac, let me holler at you real quick. They had a conversation. He tell him, he kind of talked to him lower so nobody in the studio can really hear what they're talking about. The conversation gets louder, and Snoop explained to him, this is a summertime joint, and I'm just not on that, bro. I'm not on that no more. Snoop tells him this, bro. This is a real fucking thing. It was so many people in the studio that can attest to this. This is a real conversation they had. Bitch, Tupac, they go back and forth for a second in their dialogue. Pac leaves the room, bro. He storms out. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't like when he said that on the radio that he hadn't told that to Pac. He had been said that he was tired of this whole beefing thing, bro. He said that. And it's not just in no defense. And like I said, no matter what you say, people gonna say that I'm lying, we lying, and this and that, because people don't want to believe that. They want a beef to happen. They want Moo and people to be mad at Dog and people to say this shit. I'm not with none of that bullshit, bro. I just want to tell the truth, and niggas can piece it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got to piece this thing out because it's silly. You know what I'm saying? To try to make up an issue, and especially the people that wasn't there making up the issue and perpetuating and fanning flames saying, you being suspect. Bro, it's like some of the stuff it shouldn't even be privy, but I'm giving it up right now just so I can really drive the point home to you to really understand that this is it's real truth. Like, most people don't get on those situations and lie. Like, the people that's lying is just like those people really weren't there. You know what I'm saying? And most people, and this is the thing, if you want to talk about people keeping it a buck, if you knew Pac in any sense, you had some type of situation with him. You know what I'm saying? Some type of argument, disagreement, or whatever. Not that it was going to be like he's going to beat you up, but, Pac had a very opinionated spirit. And if you knew him, the Outlaws know what they had with him and back and forth and certain things. He got mad at them a lot. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean he didn't love them. He get mad at you because he love you. And he wants you to see his point.
That's news to me. I had no idea that Tupac and Snoop Dogg had a conversation, and Snoop Dogg confronted Tupac about him dissing Biggie. But once again, I find that weird that Snoop Dogg never shared that conversation before, but and told that story. But once again, I mean, before you told me that, let's be honest, my man. I mean, of course, people gonna be like, man, how do you leave your man out there like that? I mean, you just was dissing Biggie in L.A. with Tupac, and you get on the radio in New York and say you cool with Biggie and Puffy. Man, how you leave your man out there like that. But once again, I mean, you just telling me that story that nobody never heard before, and Snoop Dogg never told. But you telling me that story, now it makes sense why Snoop Dogg got on the radio and said what he said. But like I said, I found it weird that Snoop never told that story before.
But Dogg is on a level where, if you feel like this and that about him, he like whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's vibrating on a higher thing. Like, we talk about this story often amongst family and the squad and the team, Death Row. Like I said, it was people in the studio that night that understand and know this story. You know what I'm saying? Because that sparked. It's so many other things that I could say, but I'm just not, because like I said, everything ain't privy. I'm only giving you this information right now because you said that what I said sounds suspect, and that, bro.
I mean, it did until you told me that story. Once you told me that story, then it all made sense.
Yeah, I have no reason. And this is the thing. This is one piece I do want to say. And like I said, if we decide to use this interview later or whatever, then cool. But like, I was just chopping it up with you for you to be able to have the information when you're talking to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to be all the way in the know, because I want you to succeed. I don't want you to have clickbait and get in a scenario where somebody able to just go through and just dismantle. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in regards, because like the thing, it was targeted against me for a second. You know what I'm saying? Art of Dialogue was, and I still root for everybody's success. So this is my spirit is clean. So the biggest thing is, not everybody at every time. There's things that happen in Can-Am that I have no fucking clue or idea happened. So when people try to act like they know every goddamn thing that happened in that building, you're lying. Nobody was there all the time. I happened to be there a lot because I had nowhere to go. Okay? So when Snoop tells a story about me being on the scooter and what I did, and how that vault, the song you posted that I produced with those vocals, the reason why I got so much stuff in that vault and in that catalog from the last days is because I was in there so motherfucking much, and should tell a story like this nigga lived and breathed in this goddamn studio, because I was elevating myself. And let me just go with, take the motive out of it. So when people say, "Oh, you lying," I'm not lying about shit. What if I'm lying for? Like, what is this shit gonna gain me? I just tell people, tell the truth. And to say that you were privy to every Tupac conversation and every Tupac relationship, you're lying. You don't know what Tupac said to these people. Like, everybody feels so close and personal to him because he would come in and he would talk to certain people, man, and he would talk to people that didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. And that's what made him Pac. He loved people, man. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people on later productions, whatever, like, he would gas you up and hype you, like, bro, you don't gotta be no big name, you don't gotta be this and that, you know what I'm saying, this and that, just give me a beat, I'm gonna make it a hit. And that's how you got a lot of people that was just lingering around the studio sometimes, and he'd get a beat from him and make that shit a motherfucking hit. That was love to me. You know what I'm saying? So even when the point where it's like, he know I rock with Dog 24 hours a day, every day, all day. He don't want to step on no toes. So, and our first interaction, he like, man, you got all the beats, you hear all the time. You got to give me something. That's a conversation that, yeah, people did hear it and know how it happened because Suge was right there. So Suge had to tell a story. You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning of the working relationship, not the beginning of me talking to the nigga. And we saw each other every day. It was Can-Am. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you in Can-Am, you gonna see each other every day, and you're gonna build a rapport because we all kicking, scratching. We lived in this place called the Wilshire House. So Snoop had a condo on one floor, Pac had the other condo on that floor. So when it comes to, women and different things and all that, you know what I'm saying, we was real tight. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like, it was a family unit, bro. So, people that try to act like they know every story and every relationship, you can't be selfish with somebody like that, man, because that's not true. That's like, I don't know everybody that Snoop have a relationship with, everybody that he talked to, or who he said what to. You know what I'm saying? And everybody goes like, well, I don't know that, and I didn't hear this, because sometimes people wasn't around, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, it's okay. It's okay not to know every intricate part of certain things. I was talking to Kurt Cobain the other day. He was telling me some things that I didn't know that was going on around me, and I'm sitting there right in the building, but I didn't know that was going on.
Right. But I want to backtrack a little because you made a comment saying that Snoop, really don't talk about these things because he's on a higher level. But Snoop stayed going on interviews and going on platforms and talking about this whole Tupac issue, about how he got on the radio and said what he said about Biggie and Puffy, and Tupac got mad at him, and Tupac didn't want to talk to him, and how he had to, have a knife and a fork in his hand while he was on a private jet back to LA with Tupac and Suge, and he stayed talking about this on platforms, man. So like I said, I find it very, very weird that he never told this story before.
Yeah, I know it's a famous story, very famous story. We talk about it, you know what I'm saying? He knows because, like I said, that day was that was in my eyes the day that I was like, okay, I knew things weren't going to be the same in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So, I knew that had to be resolved. You know what I mean? Because, my man was hot about this scenario. You know what I mean? He didn't want to hear that. But in true Pac fashion, I know Pac listened, he digested, and it was going to sink in. You know what I'm saying? At some point.